So guys, in this video what we are going to see how to use the request body in our Spring Boot application. Okay, so in the previous video we saw about request parameter, which means it used to get the data which is separately from the request, which means in the request, whenever we want to send this request parameter, we need to mention that key and value in the parameter. Okay, but when it comes to request body, we can use a JSON object which can be added in this body raw object. Then whatever that we want to send, that can be in the array format or object format. Then whatever the format that we are sending from the front end, that has to be received in the back end actually, which means in the Spring Boot application now I am going to use the request body which is going to be bind the data from the front end. For example, now as you can see here, I am creating a one more class called login request, and inside the request I am going to add the two variable. Okay, which means one is going to be email and another one is going to be a password. Okay, so now what's happening is like wherever I'm going to use this class called a login request, so whenever that particular API is going to trigger from the front end, they need to send this to variable. Okay, for example, now I'm going to copy this class name. I'm going to use this class login request here in this class called login validate. Okay, so now whenever someone is going to consume this API, they need to pass this request which is going to match with this login request. Okay, but before that I need to use this annotation called request body. So request body. Okay, so this request body has to match from the UI request. Okay, fine. So now this login request has the two field. So the two field, one is email, another one is password. So this I can use it here. The way how we used the same previously, right? The everything logic will be same. Now we are going to use the request body instead of request parameter. Okay. So now login request dot. I think yeah. So I didn't forget to use this Lombard annotation. Let me check whether it is there or not. Okay. I hope you people know what is Lombard annotation, which means it is a shortcut for getters and setters. Okay. So here I am using a annotation setter. Okay, so I don't need to create this getter and setter. Instead I can just easily access this variable. Okay, so now here I am going to use this get email and the same thing. Okay, but with the same implementation I am going to use this one and get password. Okay, get password, that's it. Fine. So now the logic is same, only just simple modification I have done, but here I have done a major change, which means instead of request parameter, here I have mentioned the request body. Okay, so let me run the application and let's see how it works. So now our application is started here. Okay, now the endpoint will be the same, localhost login and all these things, but instead of email and this one I will remove it here. Okay, fine. Apart from this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mention the this is I need to mention the email. The next object would be password. Okay, so the email would be, as we all know, test@gmail.com, and the password is going, I think there's a spelling mistake. Yeah, so now if I send the request, let me see what we are going to get. Okay, so we are getting 200. Okay, and you are correct actually. Okay, so in case if I send some wrong password, means then it has to give us the error. Yeah, 400 bad request, you are wrong, we are getting. Okay, so now I will do one more thing. The password is correct but the email is wrong, so that time also we should get the same thing, 400 bad request. Okay, so now whatever the logic that we are building inside this login method, everything is working fine, but now we are using a request body instead of request parameter. Okay, this request body will help us to bind all the data, whatever the data available inside this UI request, that can be matched with this login request, but make sure whatever that variable you are passing from the front end, they are creating inside the back end, which means in case if we are sending one object which is not used in the backend, means then that may not be useful. Okay, so whatever the data which we are expecting in the backend, that has to be sent from the front end. So which means it's like a mutual understanding between the front end and backend. Okay, yes. Okay guys, so if you have any questions or any queries related with programming, post in the comments, we will help you. Thank you.